Welcome to Goat Island. I'm your host, the Big Ka Huzzi, and this is your weekly music. First things first, we have to get started with the music talk. Starting off with the GOAT, Drizzy, and before we even get into GOAT talk, Smiley and Drake just dropped a banger today. Run it up, because OVO season is in full effect. Anyway, recently on stream, Aiden Ross replied to questions and not only said that he thinks Drake's next album will be amazing and very important, but also mentioned that the album was tough, which means he's heard it, which means if it's not done yet, it's very close. I think OVO fans are getting this before OVO Fest. Let's keep fingers crossed we get this in the next 3 months. The Iceman cometh. In other rap news, the Carter 6 dropped last week, and listen, this isn't news about the 6 man, but just like the merchant media profile on Insta, it's Drake related. We were hyped for the Weezy album, and as we went through it, we couldn't help but notice that on the 4th song of the album titled Hip Hop featuring Big X the Plug and Jay Jones, the chorus starts off, "Said fuck the Drake and bought the G Glock." And listen, and I get he's talking about choosing a Glock instead of a Draco for his firearm of choice, but after Lil Wayne bitched out when Kendrick dropped his name, it doesn't feel like this, it does feel like this line is a slight at Drake. Because really, Tunji, the man who took wordplay to a new level, couldn't hear that this sounds like he's taking a shot at the OVO boss. Yeah, weird. Enough of rap. This week we continue our first non-rap Mount Rushmore, which is Timeless Voices. Last week was Sade, and this week's Face in the Stone, Michael Joseph Jackson. The man didn't have a voice, he had a frequency. You didn't just hear MJ, you felt him. A high note that could shatter glass and heal your inner child. A whisper that sounded like it moonwalked across your eardrum. Screams, hee-hees, and hiccups with more soul than your entire playlist. While the rest of the music evolves, MJ just exists, even after death. Above genre, beyond time, past comparison. Michael didn't compete with other singers. They just opened for him. If you disagree, well, beat it. And now comes the time for our non-Drake song of the week so that everyone has a chance. And this week's song of the week is Love My Life by Winnie Khumalo, because it's easy to feel down and get caught up with everything that's going wrong at the moment. But you have to remember to love your life and find a reason to feel good. And if you don't feel good listening to this, then I don't know, you might be broken or something. Let's get to what's been dropping, what's just dropped, and what still needs to drop in June. And last week, of course, we got the Carter 6 from Weezy F Baby, and the F is for fumbled, because where was the Drake for us? Look, I know it's been a while since Young Money, but really? No Drake feature? Bag successfully fumbled. All that aside, the album had 19 songs. And look, this album wasn't it. We can't even give you the songs with most replay value because I don't want to hear this again. This shit is bubblegum, and unfortunately it's time to hang it up easy. With that being said, it's not looking too good for our pick for drop of the month. And at this point, by next week, we're thinking the drop of the month is going to come from the UK, because AJ Tizzy, who dropped his album today, and H, who drops next week, may not be elite status, but they've still been putting out better music than Wayne in the last half a decade at least. Despite Lil Wayne dropping the ball with his latest project, we still just got a new album from AJ Tracy, and in the last week we've had singles from Sabrina, Ty Dolla $ign, and even new Georgia Smith with Dame Dame, the song titled Freedom. Plus, we've got more drops to come this month, so it's still looking up. But even though it's a good month, doesn't mean there's not music we don't need. And this week's Keep It project out of June is the Carter 6. Nah, fam. This couldn't have been a bigger L, even if it was a New York rapper that died too young. Why should they keep this hot trash of an album? Well, it brings down the Carter name so much, even Jay-Z is taking a hit because of how disappointing this drop was. But enough about what's going on in music and what's been dropping. It's time to make DJs more useless than they already are, because we're curating with Spotify. We already have your mornings covered with our first playlist, which is up on our Spotify now, called Wake Up. But now the playlist we're busy putting together is the soundtrack to your gym sessions, and it's called There Is No Tomorrow. Because when you're putting in that work, you can't be thinking about saving your energy for later. You just gotta leave it all in the gym. Of course, we already explained how this time we don't have 4 genres and instead have 5. But in case you forgot, it's angry Eminem songs, dark trap / drill hits, heavy techno, Drake talking shit, and movie jam / dark heavy metal. Remember, this time we're making 5 picks a week, and since a gym session normally takes longer than waking up, this playlist will run for longer. So we're going to be making picks for a total of 10 weeks. And since this is the 2nd week, that means there's 8 more weeks of us building our There Is No Tomorrow playlist. This week's picks are The Way I Am for angry Eminem songs, Eurovision by Central C and a bunch of European drillers for drill hits. For heavy techno, we got Burvine Gesaf Neighbors by Fred Again and Burvine. Next, it's No Face for Drake bars. And lastly, for songs from movies, we've got Something in the Way by Nirvana from The Batman. Now, all that's left is to look at the numbers, and that means it's the music rating segment. And we have to kick things off with our GOAT, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Aubrey Drake Graham. And this week's unreleased Drake is Need Me, also known as part 2 of the original Love All. And even though Love All does appear on the certified Loverboy album and features Jay-Z, this version has never been released, but has been floating around for years. Drizzy nonchalantly suggests to his fling at the time that you should slide through and get your back broke. Used to be involved with me with no emotion. I was on the way to your next show. You was on the phone and you were so open. Heard you said you're over me, is that so? You don't ever filter, girl, and that's so okay. Could've held on, but you let it go. Saying to yourself that it's better this way. Funny thing is that you're going to need me, and I know it. This is the boy just mixing his R&B and rap bag and proving why he's at the top, because he doesn't have to pick which one, because he's great at both. And it's a 7.5 out of 10 from us for this one. Trusting Drake to vocalize what every guy thinks during a breakup when he's missing his ex, but he's not missing the relationship. We've been searching across the globe for music that's internationally listened to, but specific to one region. And this week we're listening to Brazilian funk. Yes, you heard that right. Brazil's coming for your speakers with bass lines so filthy that they should be illegal in 12 countries. Born out of funk, carioca, trap, and Memphis funk, but raised in the gym and on TikTok, artists like WL Beat, Conzilla, and Arthur Zim are lacing distorted cowbells and horrorcore energy over sped up rhythms like it's a Need for Speed soundtrack cooked on ketamine. It's less about lyrics and more about the vibes and state of mind it forces you into. Listeners from around the world don't know what's being said, but they're still squatting plates to it like it's the only acceptable genre for the gym. This gets an 8.5 out of 10 from us because it's giving cardio rage, soundtrack to your criminal arc, and sonic creatine. If this isn't on your playlist, then your workout is suffering from low test levels. Next, the great debate is still on for which is the best era of rap, and today we're rating the 80s. And listen, to be fair, rap hadn't even grown up yet. At this point, it was like maybe a preteen, but I mean, the hype for this as the foundation is just ridiculous. I mean, Dr. Zeus would have killed it during this era, but one of the biggest rap groups of this era, Run DMC, really wrote, I met this little girlie. Her hair was kind of curly. I went to her house and busted her out. I had to leave real early. I mean, kind of creepy and really just cruising on that cat in the hat level. Old heads can shut up about this shit now. It's a 5 out of 10 from us, and that's us being nice. Last up, we have music movies, and this week we watched Bob Marley, One Love. Finally, Hollywood said, let's stop playing and put some respect on the real Rasta. Based on the life of Bob Marley, not just the don't worry, be happy caricature people slap on dome walls, but the revolutionary, paranoid, prophetic, them I try kill me, Marley. Kingsley doesn't just play Bob, he channels him, locks and all. It's less impersonation, more invocation. The man had the accent, the aura, and the bare chest commitment. The film's strength, it doesn't just preach peace, it shows the price of it. Bullets, politics, betrayal, and bandmates who couldn't keep up with the vision. And this biopic gets a 9 out of 10 from us because it's not just vibes and ganja smoke. It's about surviving Babylon with nothing but a guitar, a mission, and more baby mamas than you can count on one hand. Bob died young, but the film makes sure his fire still burns. That's a wrap for this week's music drop. Before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any thoughts, drop a comment. And from Goat Island, this is the Big Ka Huzzi. Check you again.